All right, we are live. I'm live with Brandon Schaefer. What's up, Brandon?
Austin, my brother, my peaceful brother.
Here we are. We're just having a great chat about mindset and turnaround and going through tough times and what people might be dealing with, whether it's a company, an individual. And Brandon was like, "Why don't we record this?" So here we are. We're live. We want to let you listen in on this conversation, if you will, and bring what you have. Comment, chat it
Yeah,
up.
Austin, what I typically do is like whenever somebody wants to talk and I know them and I've known them for a while, I'm always like, let's just create some content with it. Right? Because like I know we were talking for 15, 20 minutes, half hour before this, and we're going over like all great stuff. I mean, unfortunately, we were talking about some personal stuff, so we weren't able to get that all shared out. But now it's like once all the dust settles, I'm always like, let's create some content. But have you ever found out that people like that aren't used to creating content get a little freaked out when you ask them? I'm like, dude, because I like if I know somebody on LinkedIn and they commented like on my stuff like 5, 6, 7 times, and I've written back like, hey, thanks so much, I appreciate it so much. I'd love to get you, and then I send them a direct message and say, hey, I'd love to get you on a StreamYard session or a Zoom session to talk and create some content. And they're like, whoa, I don't want to buy anything. I'm like, dude, I don't want to sell anything. Do you ever have that happen?
Yeah, of course. I mean, people are, especially today, people can be like, "Oh, where's the pitch? When's the pitch going to happen?" And I don't want to say there's anything wrong with a pitch because I feel like it's just appropriate. It just depends on the context of things. But for this context, the way I look at this is that you and I are having a conversation, and sometimes it's the conversation where the most value happens. It's not in the scripting and the planning because when you're having a conversation, it's organic, it's real. It's like we're shooting off the cuff. There's value to planning stuff out too, but I found that like these just organic conversations, man, just deliver so much value because it's just coming right from the heart.
Yeah, it's almost better because what happens is it's like when you're at a pro sports game and somebody puts a camera on you, people go camera crazy. There's a name for it. They go berserk, right? And it's the same thing here. Like I'll be having a conversation with somebody, perfectly fine. Everything is good. We're preparing for the recorded session, right? As soon as I say, okay, I'm going to hit the record button, it's like, whoop. I'm like, holy, what the heck happened? So I almost want to say before we get on, and not with you because I know we're totally comfortable, but with somebody else, I say, we're going to record the session. We're going to jump on. From the time you get on until the time we end is recorded. Okay. That way, when we're doing the prep, the best content is in the prep because their guards, it's just like in sales when you do the Columbo, you walk out the door, their guard goes down, you walk back in, you know what I'm saying? So, but people, as soon as that record button goes on, it's like it's like, oh my goodness, I need to sit up straight. I need to go here. I need to talk like here. Me, as soon as that record button goes on, I lose everything. I just, I'm probably opposite. I know you are too.
Yes, I love being on the camera because it's a great way to impact people. As you know, I've been doing it for years, and for me, it took a while. It didn't happen right away, but now it feels organic to me. It feels like I want to connect or from having a conversation with you. I want them to be almost one and the same because certainly the context is different when you're on camera, but why shouldn't they be closely linked? Because it's just a conversation. It's open sharing. When you're delivering value or you're talking about something relevant, it should flow and be natural. There really shouldn't be this need of like reservation. Now, of course, not everybody's comfortable in front of the camera, and that's okay. But I found that even with the most introverted people, there's ways to feel natural and to share without that pressure of, oh my gosh, I'm on camera.
Yeah, it's like, it seems just for me, I need to practice. Like, and I know if like, this is the way we're going to do business in the future. Like we're no doubt in my head, I'm not saying forever, but in the near future, like this is the way that we're going to need to do business. And it's just like practicing. So like you need dongles, you need wires, microphones here, an Ethernet cable to run. If you don't have strong Wi-Fi, you might want to have a direct connection. You might want to have a light. Like these are things that take time. If you don't practice and you're not, and on a continual basis, it's going to be difficult because what happens online is you show up and you turn your video on and you're supposed to give a presentation to your company that has 500 people on there or 5 people or 50 people, whatever it is. And you're going to figure out that, hey, you're on Wi-Fi, you're in this area of your house that has good lighting, but doesn't have good Wi-Fi connection. Then you're in, and I've had it happen with you multiple times. And now I finally have I have the Ethernet cable. I run it through the house. It's a 150-yard cable. It's a direct connect. I have the adapters that I need. I have it's like, but the only way I got to the way I got is by failing with you and tons of other people, and learning and stuff like that. So, you have to do it. It's like showing up to the dance with taking one dance lesson, or showing up to your wedding. Like I didn't take dance lessons before my wedding, but I didn't even get a chance to dance. But it's like showing up to something like that, and you practice one time. It's not going to work, So, what are your thoughts on kind of just like on the online world and going back and doing business like we're doing it now? I mean, how do you do it? How do you make an impact? I mean, because you're on video. Obviously, you're on one side of the video. I'm on the other side of the video. But how does a normal person make an impact? You can't, like me. I'm constantly like moving my arms like a puppet show. Over here, over there, and everyone has their way. You're always like sharp dressed and look great and very proper.
I don't know about that.
I'm talking when we used to go down business calls and stuff like like direct calls and stuff. But
Sure.
I used to wear suits and fancy socks and shiny shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Today, man, I'm in a t-shirt and whatever. But how do you make an impact online? Like how do you think people, like if you're starting a new company, you're doing something, what do you recommend for somebody like that?
Get started, but I can't get started. I don't know what to do. I've seen some of the craziest things get promoted or go viral. And a lot of times you'll see people, they'll hold up you don't have to say a word. They'll hold up a word. You've seen that. That's a very effective way where you don't have to talk on the camera if you don't want to. And even if you're not a video person, you're right, Brandon. This is the way of the future. Get on there, get comfortable. Avoid thinking, oh my goodness, people are watching. There's so much content. People will click, they'll get on it. When I go on, I've been on times, Brandon, I've been on live when there's 0. You look at if no one's watching. And that can freak people out. No one's watching, but it's practice. And someone's going to watch the playback, and I get to practice because it's all practice. And then get started. And if you really want to turn it into something, it's incredible patience. I liken it to what you and I did I don't know about, well, me, you probably too, but when I got started in sales, I had to do high numbers. I had to call on a lot of businesses because I wasn't proficient yet. I had to do high numbers. But what happens during the course of those high numbers, I got more proficient. So high numbers, low proficiency, but over time, my proficiency increases and my numbers go down of what I need to do because I'm better. And I liken that with video. Get on there, practice, do as much of it as you can, 1 minute, 2 minutes. I would keep it short in the beginning. And then just have the patience to go long-term and have fun with it. Absolutely have fun with it. And I do. I have fun with it. I want to engage people, but I want to have fun. If you're not having fun, like, I mean, and if maybe some of it's work related, so it's not always fun. I get that. Figure out a way to put fun into it. Figure out a way to laugh. You know, Toastmasters, there's some people that say, regardless of what the theme of your speech is, every speech is a humor speech. Infuse something into it that is entertaining. Make it fun. Make it humorous. You do a great job at that. You do a great, not only when you talk, but just in your conversations with people. You make them feel comfortable. You make them laugh. It's entertaining. It's engaging. That's an art, whether it's engaging with an individual, whether it's, because that'll translate no matter where you are. So if you look at your personality, do what feels natural to you, just translate it to video.
Yeah, I'll show you something. I showed this to Brian last night. You know, Wednesday night, I always do the thing with Brian, but this box, people think there's money in here. I said the same thing with Brian last night. People think there's money. I assure you there's not enough money that is able to be fit into this box with what's in here. I'm going to show you. In here
I'm all excited now.
is just a little bit of the daily notes. So every day when I wake up in the morning, I come downstairs, I grab a 3x5 card, and I write down one sentence of the way I'm feeling. So I'll give you one or two of them here. You can just see this is 1/10 of them. Imagine doing this for 9-10 years straight. Yeah, you have paper. You know, I started digitizing a lot of them. Wake up in the morning and just get going. Put down any hesitations you have and get moving. Keep your most cherished memories, i.e. pictures, notes, and such, in a safe and secure place where they'll never get destroyed or lost. I had an issue. I lost a bunch of pictures. I lost a bunch because of damage that was done at my house. You know, so, you think that was near and dear to me at that point? That was part of a healing process of losing something that was valuable to me, right? I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to get stuck like that. Now I use Google Photos for everything. But this goes into my CPI, which you so graciously helped me out with and helped me get a talking path. You think that's consistency every single day for 9-10 years? This is consistency, man. This is healing. This is
absolutely love it, man.
This is helpfulness. It's the same thing with video. Like when I started, when I started this, I had 0 3x5 cards written down, right? 0. Today, I have a plethora of stuff. And today I've almost built a whole platform off of these little motivational things that just I feel in the morning. You know, it's amazing. It all starts, and even with the video, like you said, you know, sometimes you get on video and you see 0 people watching, and even better. You know what? I'm glad nobody's watching. I'm glad nobody was watching in the beginning because my lighting stunk, my sound stunk. I was all over the place. And I was learning, you know, so it all comes together. It all comes together when it's supposed to come together.
And I can tell you, I've had people tell me that they like the videos when I'm out running and my head's bopping up and down better than when I'm sitting in front of here like this with you.
Oh, dude. And also, my best videos have been the actual, they actually contradict what I just said because my most engaged videos have been my worst videos.
There you go.
The worst lighting, the worst sound, the wind is going. I'm sweaty. I'm wet. My hair's sticking up like it's in a mohawk. I don't get it. So you never know. You just have to do it and do it for the right reasons. And I do it because I'm kicking myself in the butt, you know, and I don't know why you do your videos, but I do mine really for, I'm talking to myself. That's why I say you, and I'm pointing, but I'm pointing in the mirror, right? Because I'm looking in the camera in reverse. I'm talking to myself. Yeah, I just share it publicly. It's a public diary. It's a, that's it.
Yeah. I mean, I was my first client I still am my first client.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But are those notes dated?
No, you know what? I used to. You're asking a good question. A professional coach would only ask me that question.
Well, I have an idea for you. That
um, no, they're not. No, they're not. They just no, they're not. They may have been a long time ago, but these I don't see. And I actually started to put them into a Google sheet, and toss out the paper after the experience where I lost a bunch of stuff. I actually started to digitize them. This is just kind of the leftover, a little bit of them here.
yeah.
But
Because the
but
reason
what's your suggestion?
you got a book right there.
Yeah.
You got a book. You literally you give somebody that box, transcribe these, and you come up with a title. You create a persona around your journey. One salesperson's journey from I don't know, I'm just making up a name, but from broke to abundance. One salesperson's one salesperson's journey, one sentence at a time, or something like that. Each sentence in this book was a stepping stone from being broke to abundance. So each sentence is a step. That's a book.
Yeah, I've actually, when I fly, when I take the long flights, like when I go over to UK or something, I'll always bring some of them and I'll write them down, and then I do sentences. So I take the sentence, I'll write it down, and then I'll write like 3 or 4 sentences underneath of it of how I'm feeling. But I got another question for you. How do you feel about like creating different types of content? Because I typically share like all different, I'm all over the place. I'm talking about business. I'm talking about life. I'm talking about working out. I'm making drinks. I'm making smoothies. Like I just figure for me, and again, I'm doing this for myself. But I just figured for me, like the diversity is good. And I know people come from a different thought, like, hey, you need to position yourself. And you're going to know this much better than I, but people say like, you need to position yourself in one segment and be the expert. Whereas me, I'm kind of over here, and over here, but I'm really doing it because I'm enjoying it, you know, like, hey, this is really good or something. It's not, there's no like rhyme or reason. I'm not studying, you know, hey, I'm going to do this video today. It's like, hey, I feel inspired. I pull off my car to a safe spot. I get out of the car, I get my tripod out, and I record. I mean, what do you feel about like, or what do you think about just positioning yourself straight on, just constant on one track? Or
Grant Cardone, rule number 1. Do you know what that is?
No, I went to his conference, but I don't know what it is.
Grant Cardone, number 1, attention.
Attention?
Being
What
able
do you
to
mean
get
though? What do you mean though?
Being able to get people's.
Oh, okay. So you're a fan of the diversity?
I'm a fan of all of it. I look at it this way, is that what you're doing is it's almost like this, the best way I can put it. I like to use music. So imagine you play the saxophone, and you go out to a street corner in Philadelphia, and you're just playing the sax, and you're playing whatever song you love, and people are walking by. They might throw some money in your tip thing, right? But you're loving it. You do it because you love it. You make a little bit of money off of it. You do it because you love it. Now you say you have a handout. I'm actually a jazz professional. I've played with, I don't know, Michael Bolton. I'm just pulling up a name, and I'm having a special concert, and we're selling tickets. Now you're nailing down the genre and the concert that you want to go, that you're inviting them to. So you might market it on the street, you might market it whatever online. So the point is that I like all of it, because when you're out in front of people doing what you love, you're practicing. And then when you're ready to roll out your niche of what you want to do, you already have attention. So you might have let's just say you have attention of 100 people, and then you roll out your niche. You might only 20 people out of that 100 might be interested in your niche, but if you hadn't done that broad scope getting attention, you would never identify that 20. So I think when it comes to getting more serious, yeah, the riches is in the niches. But when people see Grant Cardone, what does he do, right? I mean, he's talking, he gets attention on all different fronts. But then he does real estate, right? He's a real estate investor. So I think it's the same thing. I mean, and I can relate to what you're doing because people say, what do you do? Like, what is it that you do? And everybody gets caught up in, it's got to be a silo. And certainly when you get into further down, yes, there has to be a path for people to go to. If I listen to Brandon, I know that he's going to get me here, right? And that's all things that can be developed. But Brandon, just like any other business, right? There's always a cornerstone product. If you look at Honda, what does Honda do?
Cars.
But what happened with Honda is I don't know if you know this or not, but during the war, he made this little motorcycle to get back and forth to the grocery store. And then everybody said, hey, why don't you make us one of those? And so they were watching him do something authentic that they loved. And they said, why don't you do one for us? And all of a sudden he launched the Super Cub. And then he got back into making cars, which is because he worked for Toyota. So then he got back into making cars again. And now everybody knows the Honda car. So you may be doing something and be like, Brandon, because I always think your audience tells you what they want. And I think that's the best place to start. What is it that you want? And then they tell you, you're good at that. I want that. And that's when you know you have something that you can start to build a business off of. But rule number one is to get attention. Always be out there doing what you love, because that's the truest, authentic thing you can do.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree, man. I agree. So, what do you want to end there?
I do, because I'm going to get on another call, but I am so glad we got some time here just to chat. And
I got a lot more questions for you, buddy.
Yeah, we can chat anytime.
I got a lot more questions. We'll just put something on schedule next week and we'll go from there.
All right, let me end this call. All right, Brandon.